break from practicing over the holidays that went longer than I anticipated. And that can often be a really good cleansing, helpful thing. I don't think you want to do it too often, but I think there's a lot to be gained from taking a sustained or a longer than normal break. You know, let's say every week it's normal for you to have a few days where you don't play. That's fine. At some point, I think it's good to take double, maybe triple that amount of time. So for myself, there was the holidays, we went away for a little bit of time. I didn't bring my saxophone with me on this family trip. I normally do bring it, and it just leads to guilt. I carry it around with me, I lug it on the plane, I take it everywhere. It sits in the hotel room or whomever's house we might be visiting. I don't use it. And then I feel like guilt, it's not really productive, doesn't contribute to me feeling better. So I took an extended break, but then you're faced with the prospect when you return home and then it's like, oh my gosh, where do I begin to re-climb this mountain?
Ow, what the heck? It's a lot harder than you think.
So coming back from not practicing after a while and starting to rebuild a practice habit, I'm reluctant to say routine because routine in my mind implies very much doing the same thing in the same way in the same order repetitively. And I think that when it comes to developing skills as an improviser, skills to be an improviser as a jazz musician, it's important that we're addressing the craft of playing the instrument well. That's something that's a never-ending pathway to mastery that we'll never get to. There is no mastery. If anybody tells you that you're going to master this thing, or anything with the word mastery involved as an endpoint is a total crock. So you might as well embrace the journey toward mastery, to the place that you never will arrive, because it is on that journey that you're going to uncover all the good stuff, all the meaningful things. And when I say to students, like, practice into a problem, what I mean is you go into your practice room, sometimes there's going to be a very specific order of events. Like some days I will choose to initiate my saxophone power hour protocol. This is the book that I've been threatening to write for years, but it's in essence, it's just a practice sequence that I know takes 60 minutes more or less and will get me through all 12 keys and 4 octaves on the saxophone. And I'll be thoroughly warmed up, etc. But it's an hour commitment. I have to say, am I going to dedicate the next hour to this? And sometimes that's exactly what I need. And other times I need to lean more away from the, if you think of the yin and yang, like order and chaos, I need to lean away from order and into chaos. And that chaos means just embracing the unknown. So day one of rebuilding a practice habit for me, this time around anyway, looks more like tunes. Tunes is what I said in some previous videos I want to put more energy toward. Revisiting, relearning, rememorizing a standard repertoire this year for me. So tunes is going to be the place where I'll start a practice journey and find out what I need to work on today. And embracing the mess. So the first thing is, like, it's going to be messy. It's not going to be good, and that's okay. And I just have to accept that. Going in, fingers are going to feel like fat hot dogs, tone's not going to be there, embouchure's not going to be there. It's okay. Just embrace the mess. And by the way, I have a physical mess, unfortunately, that goes along with this that needs to be reconciled. embrace the mess. That's step one.
You know, I'm just gradually drifting away from it, trying to stretch myself a little bit. I'm really not by any means close to what I want to sound like. It's not feeling great. The bottom of the horn feels like, there's a lot of complaints that I have. I won't bore you with about what the sound and the feel is like. It's not the point. Today's just day one. Today's just about getting back in gear. So it's okay. It's gonna be rough around the edges, and that's fine for me.
And then step two is gonna be to start to focus more, to zero in, to home in on something that I can specifically develop, repeat, and do. So it's this zooming out, zooming in, zooming out, zooming in, micro, macro, macro, micro, that I find really helpful. And then what's happening then is you're always keeping your mind engaged in a way, so you don't get into this place where you're like just mindlessly playing some scales or something because you think that's what you should do. I had a student once who was like, he wondered why he wasn't getting better, and all he ever did was just play his major scales over and over again. And it's like, well, while you need to know your major scales, that's essential, you're never going to leap from just doing that into, you know, improvising melodically, beautifully, whatever. It's not going to happen. You need to address that gap by practicing things that in effect put you in the hot seat to bridge that gap. You dig? This guy's not even looking where he's going. He's just straight up on his phone. Yep, don't want to be that guy.
Well, you're turning into that guy.
I'm not turning into that guy. I'm not.